Hey, good evening, everyone. I see that we have already got some people tagging and so on. We would really like you to tag friends, anyone that you think should be watching this live to get the updates, to hear what's going on. And with us this evening, we have our tech whiz Kat and Alison Sauer, who will help us do the talking about things. And hopefully she's maybe a little bit more up to date on things than me right now. But anyway, let me get to the correct page. Okay, Kat, what's first tonight?
Sorry, I forgot I
You
was
were
muted
still
there.
muted, yeah.
Yes, we have got the Missing Rights, Missing Voices campaign. We don't have Michelle to talk to us about it today.
No,
though.
there is information on the action group about this campaign, as well as the Stop the Children's Wellbeing in Schools Bill page. This is an opportunity for children to make sure their voices are heard. I think all the instructions are on the posts. I actually need to go and check it myself now because I've got the most terrible memory out. But this is, please go and have a look at this. We realize that the Children's Commissioner, for all her big talk about listening to children, has not really listened to home educated children. So this campaign is to try and get her attention. And you can see these lovely graphics that have been created by a graphic designer, I believe, that you can get access to to help support this campaign. I don't know if you're able to tell me a bit more about that, Kat.
The idea is that you follow the links on the Stop the Children's Wellbeing in Schools Bill page. It will take you to a Dropbox folder where you can choose from a multitude of postcard designs. You can either pick some that your children could color in, or there's some pre-colored designs as well. On the back of the postcard, well, you print it out. There's some space to write for your child to write their message to the children's commissioner. It's not for you, it's for your child, because obviously it's the children's commissioner after all. Then those all get mailed to Michelle's address there, her business address, that is, and they will all be passed on to the children's commissioner one way or the other. There is a plan in place.
That's right. I know that there is a plan to collect and to hand over, so that it's more impactful in terms of like a hard copy kind of thing, isn't it? Yeah, so it's much harder to
That's the one,
ignore
yeah.
actually when you get it in hard copy rather than in an inbox or some other campaign. So please do go and have a look at that and follow those instructions. This is really an opportunity for your children to get involved, to make sure their voices are heard, because at the moment their voices are missing from the narrative and the dialogue that's going on around the bill.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if it's the last day to post is the 27th of October or if they need to be with Michelle by the 27th. Basically, it's a job for this week.
Yeah, I was going to
Yep.
go and quickly just find that there was a bit more information, but
Yep.
yeah, yeah, I'm trying to think what the date was, but you've probably better than.
Wait, I've got the date of the 27th of
Oh, there we
October in
go.
my
Sorry,
head.
in the
So, yeah.
27th. It's the
Yeah.
27th. Sorry, I'm blathering on. It's really just
Oh, don't worry.
yeah.
It's fine. I'm just to say Michelle isn't here because she's at the battle of ideas right now, fighting our corner and having arguments with people. So that's why she's not here. It's because she's doing work somewhere else in a very impactful way. So she'll be back next week, definitely.
Yeah, but please, the 27th is basically next week, Monday. So the sooner you look at this, the better. Make this your homework for the week and part of your children's education on accessing political processes. And then you've got one more box that can be ticked in your educational offering. So it's all good. Okay, so yes, and Jade's also commented, that it's the 27th. And linked on to the Facebook in the comments to the
Thank you, Jade.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
the
Yep.
the actual place where you need to go to find everything. So please look in the comments for that.
Yep.
Okay.
And then speaking of other things this week, we're into the final week of the parliamentary petition.
Yeah, and you can see it has continued to climb up to 163 odd signatures. But if you think how it escalated to that over 100,000, it's kind of going a bit slower now, because previously you could watch it going up by thousands within minutes, and that has slowed down. So please continue to share it, because even though we have crossed the 100,000 mark, the more signatures we get on this, the more we can point MPs to it and say, this is how many people have signed this petition, and higher numbers are definitely more impressive. So continue to share it and to ask people to sign it, particularly with regards to things like the consistent identifier, which is part of the Children's Wellbeing in Schools Bill. This is about withdrawing the whole bill, because the whole bill is not fit for purpose. Okay, next up, Kat. Okay, so this is another thing that you can sign and share. This focuses particularly on the digital identifier, the consistent identifier. You know, so a lot of people are protesting against the digital ID for adults, but the government is not just focusing on adults, and by having children on a database from this age, they will basically feed into that digital ID as they become adults. Now, some people say, oh, you know, but we're already on this system, we're already on that system. Yes, we are, but this is talking about one system to connect everything, which means that information about your medical situation can get accessed by people who are in working with education, and vice versa. It can mean that it starts to blur the lines between like things like welfare and education. And it just means that information is out there far more and is accessible to more people. This all identifiers, all any kind of measure like this is going to at this point be digital. Given the technology of today, it's all going to be digital. So you know, if you don't want your children's data to be shared without your consent willy-nilly to any Tom, Dick, and Harry that can waive some credentials, then you need to be signing this and sharing it with other people to stop this bill.
So
She has called it the Children's Bill, but she's referring to the Children's Wellbeing in Schools Bill.
yeah, she has. Now, just a couple of things. There was an analysis done fairly recently that suggests that the result of this database is that 3,000 people will have access to one child's data.
Yeah.
3,000 people will have legal access to one child's data.
And actually, there's a really good YouTube video by a barrister, Steve. What's his name?
Right?
No,
Steve.
it's been linked to recently. It's been shared, and we can make sure that we can find the link. But he basically warns, and he talks about all the different people that this would have access to this data, and it includes the police, it includes social services, it includes health professionals from all different branches of the NHS. It includes educational professionals and so on, but it also includes the Secretary of State and anyone that can be deemed to have some credibility. So they can also choose later on who has access to that data. Once they have it, they have it. You can't get it back. And
can I just say a couple more things?
Please do.
So the other thing is there is no right of correction, and there is actually no right to see your full record. If you were to try and do a subject access request for the information, there is a very strong possibility that a huge amount of it will be redacted. Local authorities are entitled to put anything they want on your child's record from whatever source they choose. That can include gossip. There is nothing to say that anything has to be fact checked before it goes on. And there is no right to correct the record. So if you do get a copy of your child's record and there are incorrect entries on it, there is no right to correct it, and there is no facility to correct it, and there is no complaints procedure. So this is putting a tiny wedge in and prizing it open and making sure that your children get very used to having everything that they ever have on an electronic record. There is also a principle in this country that if you were to commit a crime when you were a child, your criminal record gets effectively shut down. It gets locked away for when you're an adult. So the things that happen to you as a child, where you've been a bit naughty or you've done something wrong or you've made some poor decisions or whatever it is, that you get a clean slate when you get to be an adult and you get to try and be a new person. This wipes that out. So although it doesn't undermine the idea of your criminal record being sealed, it doesn't prevent all this stuff going on about your criminal record. So the social services meetings and all the other things that indicate that you've had a rough childhood. It doesn't stop your counselling records. It doesn't stop the fact that you were maybe suicidal as a child. All of these things remain on your permanent record, and God knows who's going to have access to them.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's just the very thing that your children, there's no way to get away from what people have said, what professionals have said. And I know many home educators that have had a lot of issues, have had lies told about them, have had to go and do subject access requests to find out what was said about them. And there's a lot of false information that is shared about families, and that would be spread wider. It can result in much wider prejudice and discrimination. There's, we really have to think very carefully about, we cannot be blasé and not worry about our personal information, because it can have long-term damaging effects if it is shared with the wrong people. And that's also, so I've shared the link to the YouTube video, which the barrister's name is Stephen Barrett. And he is a barrister, and he shares a YouTube video there about the kids' digital ID. And, if you've got a barrister warning you that this is a bad thing, then we surely should be paying attention and listening. So please do support this petition, sign it, share it as much as you can. Any petition that is going to have impact on getting this bill withdrawn or things looked at again is going to be important. So I don't care how many petitions you have to sign them all. It takes minutes of your life, and it can make a difference. Okay, what's next, Kat?
Yeah, we have a couple of comments here.
Yes,
Jade
please.
says, in what logical world does 3,000 people need access to one child's data? Very concerning. Yep,
Yeah.
we agree.
We
And
have-
Julie asks, does the skills bill cover up to 16, or is it up to 18?
18.
Mm.
Many of cover up
And
to
beyond.
Yeah, because the schools bill is also about things like children in foster care and children in care, and they would definitely go up to 18 years of age. I think we I know somewhere there's a definition of exactly what a child would, what they'd be considered, but as I would imagine it is up to 18 years of age. Okay, yes, I hope that answers the questions. And yes, Julie, it is horrendous. We really do have to think about this, because the direction of travel at the moment doesn't bear thinking about. We have to push back as much as possible. Okay, Kat, what's next? Okay, so this coming Friday, yes. So this coming Friday, we are planning a live on TikTok at 7 p.m. So that's this coming Friday, 24th. Hopefully we'll have a few people on there, and we will be talking about the Children's Wellbeing in Schools bill, and withdrawing it, stopping it, the damage it's going to cause, that kind of thing. So please join us, and if you are on TikTok and you are watching it, please share it as well and get other people to be watching it, because we will be covering a lot of stuff then as well.
Yep, it's being hosted on Amy's account, which is Ginger Snaps Home Ed Facts. And 1 second. not you. And there is an event set up on TikTok somewhere.
Okay.
We will figure out a way to share that into the action group this week.
Okay, great. Okay. Moving on. Okay, so this is another protest that is planned for this coming Saturday, the 25th of October. So, still time for you to change your plans if you've got plans and go and support this. So, this one is being headed up by Jade, who is in the commenting in the chat. And it's at Western Supermare, with more to be confirmed. Hopefully, Jade will share a link as well in the comments as to where people can find out more information, what they need to be doing to get the information of where to meet and the timings and that kind of thing. We've tried having protests in all different places in the country. Every bit counts, and the more we can get, the more we get media attention and we raise awareness of our concerns and of the dangers of this bill. So please, if you are able to get to Western Supermare this coming Saturday, the 25th of October, please do. As I said, it's enough time to change your plans, cancel the birthday parties you've got, in the calendar, all of that, because you've got something more important to go to. Right.
Yep, that's Saturday, 1:30 p.m. till 4:30
Till
p.m.
4:30 p.m. Okay.
Yep.
Just by the way, just going back to the TikTok thing, Sam asked, will she need a TikTok to watch the live?
I believe you do, but there should be a way for us to record it so we can
Yes.
put it up elsewhere afterwards.
Okay, so we'll put that up somewhere afterwards.
Yep.
I think I'm trying to remember. I think sometimes you can share TikToks and watch them, can't you? Sometimes I don't know. But
I'm not sure how publicly
someone
visible
who knows
lives are.
better than me can
Yeah.
comment in the comments, please, about
Yep.
how TikTok works. I am quite green when it comes to TikTok. So yeah, so Jade
And
has also shared a
yeah.
link now to the rally. So please go and get the information there. Okay, next up. Okay, so this was a question. No, this is an amendment that's been.
This is the running list of amendments for the record
Yeah.
stage, and the one that is of particular interest, pardoning the chaos in the background there, is that Lord Nash has introduced an amendment that would effectively stop all under 16s from becoming users of social media by the use of highly effective age assurance measures.
Which means collecting data.
Data, IDs. It would be, while it's, while we normally don't see any sort of acceptance of non-government amendments, this would support their digital ID agenda.
I wonder if
At least it would, in my opinion.
Yes, and I wonder if they'll accept it or not, because they've kicked out most amendments, haven't they? There are not that too many that may have made it in, so it will be interesting to see. But yes, I can see what you're saying about because how will they prove somebody's age, and it then would require age verification of collecting somebody's ID, wanting pictures of their passports or something like that, wouldn't it? Okay, so just be aware of that one. Okay, then this week we also had a really good open letter appear in this on this website, The Critic, written by Joshua Kellard, where he has addressed the Children's Commissioner. And he is particularly writing to the Children's Commissioner as somebody who shouldn't really be taking sides as such in, or seeking to influence in a political way. So it's really a good read, because he pulls out things about how things should be, what the role of government should be, but he's challenging the Children's Commissioner in her role to ask what she is doing, and to address the way she's been behaving and responding in this whole thing. I think if you can find the last paragraph of that, she says where he kind of ends it off. Yeah, I think that, are you listening now? He says, when you assumed the Children's Commissionership, you made it clear that you wanted to be a listener. Your Big Ask survey underscored your desire to hear from children, and you noted rightly that children come in families and families too need to be heard. Since this bill came into play, many home educators and home educating children have reached out to you and your office. Many have heard nothing by way of response, and that sense of being ignored has generated the hashtag for the campaign, the Are You Listening Now hashtag. And he asks her, as this bill goes back to the Commons, are you prepared to reflect critically on your own tax-funded campaign for it, where she's been campaigning for this bill, and has not stood up in terms of speaking out that home education is not a safeguarding concern. So he is challenging her, and this is something that deserves to be shared as well, particularly with people who, there are a lot of people who question our resistance to this bill, but he spells it out really clearly. So it's worth a read and sharing to a wider audience if you're able to. Okay, then we have the usual articles about home education and the numbers and the increase, and this is particularly focusing on children with special educational needs. That's more than doubled since the pandemic, based on a freedom of information request from 64 councils across England. So that was in 2020, and we're comparing with 2024.
And I have something to say about this because the SEND numbers are underreported because they only look at people who were either on the SEND register when they were at school or who have an existing EHCP. Now, we know that a huge number, quite possibly the majority of new to home education, home educated children have SEND. So that would be over 50%. The reported figure is 16% or 14%. Yeah.
What's interesting is that this figure is still higher than the overall school population.
Well, yes, it is, but I think it's nearer 55-60%, if not higher.
Well, that was the findings
of been recognised in school, and the fact that the SEND has not been recognised in school is the reason for the massive hike in home education, because the needs are not being met in school.
Yeah, and these are children without an EHCP that they're asking about. So we know that there are many with an EHCP that are home educated as well, but we know that many parents, out of desperation, are home educating for these reasons, and their children don't have an EHCP, their needs are not being met or recognized within the school setting, and parents don't feel like they have a choice. So as Alison says, we do believe it's underreported. Kat, you had some things to say about that as well. I don't know if you're able to talk right now, but
it's the same thing Alison was mentioning. It's how they count the statistics. They they leave groups of children out and then say, oh, but we have these statistics.
And the children are not being assessed. They're just not being pushed.
It's also that the word of the parent is not good enough to be counted as a statistic. They're not allowed, local authorities aren't allowed to ask, does your child have SEND needs? Can we report that to the DFE? Because the DFE just doesn't ask.
Yeah, but also, there is a massive reluctance on the part of home educators, quite rightly, to report their children as having SEND once they are home educated, because they know damn well they won't get support. They'll just get criticism, monitoring and interference. So, why would you?
And also, once you're home educating your child, is something totally tailored to them, so they may not be at the same disadvantage any longer that they were in school. So it may not present in the same way. So there's a lot of factors, but I think what we're saying is that, yes, they say the numbers have doubled, but we think those numbers are still underreported. Okay, so there's another one of these articles on home education on the rise as Rotherham Council updates their policy. Now, if you live in the Rotherham local authority area, you need to sit up and pay attention because they are going to consider a revised elective home education policy this Monday, so tomorrow, which aims to simplify guidance, strengthen communication with families, and ensure local procedures reflect national best practice. Now, I'm not sure who they will be looking for national best practice. If they're looking at Coventry, for example, then you're on a good wicket. If they're looking at Portsmouth, then you're in trouble. So I would really encourage you, if you are in that local authority, to keep an eye on things. Try and have a chat to councillors if you can, or if there are meetings that you can attend, or you can be represented in any way, or write to your councillors about this. This would probably be a good time to make sure that you have some input on this, or that you are following what is happening there. It may be, but Rotherham is going to be a well-behaved local authority, but you need to be aware, and you need to make sure. It talks about, if approved, the new policy will take effect in November 25 and will be updated again if required once the Children's Wellbeing in Schools Bill becomes law. Not if, once.
Is this a scrutiny committee meeting?
No, it looks like it's just like let me just see if it said where, because it just talks about the council updating the policy. It doesn't give details on which like task team or committee or anything like that.
Because if it's a public meeting, then you can go to it and they have to allow 15 minutes at the end of the meeting for public comment.
Yeah, so go and, if you can go and look at your council's diary or something like that to find out what's on the calendar for the 20th, what meetings. It might give you some indication, and hopefully you can go and have some input. But please do go and
it might be a bit short notice now, but you will
would still be
probably
on-
be able to find all the documents that are for the councillors in this meeting. They will probably be online already with the agenda. It's
Yes,
just trying to find them in the midst of all the council meeting notes and everything else that they put on there.
And they're saying they will consider a revised elective home education policy. So somebody may have already written it and they're going to consider whether they accept it or not. So you need to be on top of this. You need to find out what's in that document.
Actually, hopefully you've already been consulted and it's a good document, but we haven't seen it ourselves.
Let's hope. We'd love to hear from you if you are aware of it and you've been consulted. That would be.
Sorry, I've just looked it up. Meetings take place at Rotherham Town Hall. Members of the public are welcome to ask a question at the beginning of each cabinet meeting without notice.
Okay, so tomorrow, if you're in the area, try and pop along to that. You will get a representative from your community to pop along to that. Okay, is that everything, Kat?
That's everything I've got. Yep.
Okay. So the other things to remember: if you are not subscribed to our Substack yet, please go and subscribe, because we add these things that we've discussed and more things. We don't cover everything that we have on that week that comes across our desks, and so you will find more things that you might want to be aware of that give you a broader picture. Kat, I'm sure that the link will be shared to the Substack somewhere, won't it? The other thing is to receive notifications every time we go live. You can type right now in the comment, what is it? Exclamation mark.
Notify.
So in the comments under this live, exclamation mark notify, and every time we go live, you will be notified, so you won't miss one of these.
It definitely works on the Alliance page. I'm not sure about the Stop the Bill page, but if that isn't working, please let us know and we'll try and sort it out this week.
Yeah, and even if it doesn't, we are live as often as possible on a Sunday evening at 7:30. Only if something unusual happens that we won't be live. So you can always come and find us here 7:30 Sunday night in our little boxes, just waiting to talk to you. So yeah, that's it. Otherwise, have a good week. Try and get to Western Supermare, support the other campaigns, support the petitions. Keep going, keep going, keep going. If you see anyone talking publicly, Simon Squibb or Bruce Unfiltered or whatever, go and like and share their posts about this bill. Let's keep the momentum going, and it's not time to give up yet. So just keep going.